our total expenditures on an operating basis. And the principal saving there, Bishop, is the staff reduction.
Right, the staff reduction that we made. That's correct.
Okay. Please.
Let me understand something. The proposed revenue is going from 903 to 912,000, but we have an additional 22,000. That was the FEMA money, the grant income?
Yes.
We're expecting FEMA reimbursement this year too?
Because
what I was going to say is, since you had it in that category, it really shows the fact that the income was, if you take the 22,000 out, was really only 880,000. So you're
Correct.
talking about an increase of revenue from 880 to 900,000. Is that realistic when you talked about a great season last year with weather? So I just point that out.
Mr. Arcaro?
Take out that 22,000 number. You're talking about, that's a high percentage when you look at, take a look, and if you start looking of 880, the year before was 846, then we had a high, it's trended. We're trying to do everything to be able to trend it upward, but that was with a great weather year.
that was also with a 4th of July that was on a Wednesday, which
Here's a Thursday,
which
that's
had
right.
a significant impact on our revenue.
But I guess the question really, there's a couple of questions actually, when we have this discussion every year.
Every year.
Councilwoman Brett, welcome to the
Welcome
discussion.
to the party.
The first question is, we've projected a zero deficit, and I'm not confident that's the best way to project. I think that there was a view on the board that we wanted to project that way, but, we haven't ever had a zero deficit. So, my preference would be to take our revenue numbers down. And again, this is for discussion tonight, right? So, and to give feedback back to staff before we finalize this next time. But I would take down the revenue numbers as per Mayor Feinstein's suggestion, and then that would leave you with a loss now. And then I guess the other question is, how confident are our staff that we can, hold the line at $900,000 in expenditures this year? What is it, $912,000 in expenditures?
Well, we're fairly comfortable here. There is only one bogey that we are not comfortable with, and the FEMA costs are them. It's the FEMA revenue versus the FEMA
Well, FEMA
cost.
shouldn't be in here anyway. Isn't FEMA?
Well, we left it out.
Can't we take? But I'm saying, FEMA shouldn't be in these numbers at all. In fact, that's exactly what I'm saying. I would put
The
FEMA
net
below
cost-
the line.
The net cost has to be there.
Yeah. But
Plus
I would
500%.
put.
Yeah.
I would have a
500%
pre-FEMA net
7.5%.
number.
Right.
I'd have a pre-FEMA net
Right.
number. I wouldn't
Okay.
put FEMA in revenues or costs.
Well, we could easily modify this and move it down below.
That's my point, yeah.
And show it right alongside with capital, because FEMA
Yes.
costs are borderline capital costs anyway.
Right. So I would do that.
Okay, we'll make that change.
So the FEMA work is at 87.5%. I don't know if the
75 and 12 and a half.
yeah.
Yeah, I have an
I don't
analysis in
think-
here for you.
There was some talk about it being at 100, but I don't think the state share is going to take us there. So there's an expense that the commission will experience of 12.5%.
Yeah, you did that, the back.
Right.
Show that.
That's
So
coming out of nowhere, assuming, arguendo, that we get all our other reimbursements in check. Because you got some insurance reimbursements that will offset. some
Right,
of the-
and it's a very moving target. I did give the commission an analysis of at least rough numbers of where we are, and there's a FEMA
Well,
update.
let me ask the board.
Yeah.
Is the board prepared to? I think. Well, the other. So revenues, I'd feel more comfortable bringing them down, as we discussed.
Okay.
The second thing is expenditures, and we've always worked hard, and we've met with head of each department to see if if these are bare bone numbers.
I have some questions
And-
about the
yeah, please.
expenditure side.
Go ahead.
Okay. Number one, the medical insurance is being reduced from 13,800 to 3,200.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know you've said, I want to know why, I understand we don't have a foreman, but he did not work here full-time. What was the allocation, the foreman and the two other individuals who really
Right, the
didn't
net,
work?
all right, the net cost. and
How
this
was
is-
that out? What was
This
the
is the net
allocation?
cost for a family plan,
Mm-hmm.
which in this case the foreman had. The net after contributions was about 17.5.
And the allocation
And
between
the allocation
each?
was 50%.
Okay,
So right away, we were looking at a rough number of $8,800. I don't know.
even though you said he did not perform 50% of his time to Rye-Town Park.
No, he did. He was 50% allocated to Rye-Town Park.
Was he 50, he was 100%?
He was
in the
always
summer?
50% at Rye-Town Park. Understand, in the summertime, he was probably 60, 70% Rye-Town Park. In the off-season, he was less. Now, our two other full-timers were minuscule in terms
Well,
of
that,
the...
I will tell you, that is inconsistent with what was written here.
Okay?
Frank spent most of his time at Rye-Town Park during the summer, virtually 100%. However, during the off-season, he spent most of his time on other town of Rye business. So,
How is that inconsistent?
because to me, 100% in the summer is only 3 or 4 months, and virtually nothing. I can do the math, it's not 50/50.
Well,
I know, I just want to understand.
and I'm not look-
Bishop, hold on.
Yep.
I know, I just want to,
Yeah,
to
so
understand the allocation.
The allocation.
Just so,
so
I'm
the
not
allocation.
trying to parse
No,
what
no,
happened
sure.
in the past. I want to see whether or not these are real numbers.
The allocation for as long as we've been on the commission has been 50%. It's and more or less he spent our expectation is he spent 50%. Quite frankly, some years he spent a little bit more, some years less in Crawford Park versus Rye-Town Park. But the allocation was always 50%.
So-
Remember, he starts April 1,
Just let hold on.
and he runs till October.
What's the 3,200 number?
The 3,200 number,
I mean, if we're looking at the
Oh, is
budget.
the residual? I think is that what's already incurred?
No, for the
No, no, no,
proposed. I
hang
want to
on.
understand the health.
Hang on a second.
The health insurance. Who is that?
oh, that's
No.
me. That's 1/16
Okay.
of me.
Okay. And is 1/16 of your salaries in here?
Yes. That's in the
$20,000,
16,000, roughly speaking.
and that's 1/6.
1/6.
Okay,
roughly.
yeah,
Yes,
1/6.
Right.
16,
16,000, right.
1/16. Okay, so that's consistent. It's your health insurance and and 1/6. Okay, just want to make sure it's
Sure.
consistent.
Yep.
My other question is, and I think it wasn't, I'm just trying to understand some of the backup that.
Sure.
By the way, I don't know why just as an aside, I don't know why the telephone usage skyrocketed so much this year. We should just take a look at that. I see what's budgeted
Yeah.
for next year.
We added a line for party control, if you will, or reservations, because it was difficult for people to get through on the main line with all the other calls. So when we shifted the reservations to Terry, we gave her a line specifically for that.
Okay? And in the future?
Well, what you're seeing is you're seeing a reduction because our foreman had a cell phone, of which some of
Okay,
that was being
okay,
allocated.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay. And the last comment that I want to understand some of the numbers is the buildings and ground maintenance.
Yes.
Last year it was 100,000. In the backup, it said that we were going to get a list of what it was. It's an increase,
Ooh,
and it wasn't
yeah,
there.
I owe you
It's an
that.
increase of about 20,000. So I
Right.
wanted to understand the increases. We're talking about the fact that we've changed the model, the fact that we don't have a foreman anymore, and there's a savings,
Right.
the health insurance, but I also want to see what the additional costs are to see whether or not. And
And that's where we went from the 99 to the 120.
I don't know what the additional 20.
Well-
Is it more with Greenway? Was that?
We're not 100% sure yet. I mean, right now, what we're doing is just forecasting this.
And the question
Well-
basically is we're talking about this, is this the right model? Do we have enough for maintenance in here?
I-
For
I-
personnel,
I-
because we,
I think we do. And I just wanted
And
to
I
let
know
you
this-
know that what we're doing at the town is we are putting an RFP out for property maintenance services. This is at the town level, which incorporates Rye-Town Park.
That hasn't gone out yet, though.
That has not gone out yet, but I have put in an amount estimating to say we may see some additional costs. Recognize that trash pickup was done by our staff. Trash pickup is now being shifted to Greenway. There may be some other repair work and things of that nature that were done by our staff in the off-season that we are hoping to have covered by this RFP for property maintenance services.
Bishop,
During the season,
Bishop,
there are no additional costs.
we should circulate a draft of that RFP to this board.
Okay?
Well, that was my, you beat me to it, because obviously it impacts,
Sure, yeah.
we learn.
Okay.
Leave it at that. Because it impacts, obviously, the
Sure,
performance
Yep.
of this particular park. Any idea, if you could circulate, that's great, when you're expecting that to go out?
We're waiting for the town attorney to come back from vacation to take a look at it. Assuming that he can look at it quickly, we can have it out in the next few weeks, next couple of weeks.
But,
That's
we
what our
can,
plan is.
If it's important that this commission see it.
Is this also an RFP that can be, well, we have to see it, where you can pick and choose? It's not for both parks? Is it for all Rye-Town Park?
No, it's for the town of Rye as a whole,
As a whole.
Rye-Town Park being included.
So therefore.
Yeah, but you can pick and choose,
You
yes.
can, you can pick and choose, you
Yes.
understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So if, look, if this commission decided they didn't want to go with this strategy, we can certainly decide to do something different. The principal savings that we believe we can generate. So what we did, and you're absolutely right. In fact, Bishop, I think it's important to write this up so we segregate out these costs. So the expectation is we have a $30,000 saving, more or less. And we're adding $20,000 in maintenance costs, and then the savings in health and everything else. But we should make that clear. And we're going to go out with the RFP, and ultimately, and Greenway or somebody like them will pick up the difference, and we hope we're hoping it's not going to be as much as an additional $20,000. But
the addition, the 20,000 was in anticipation,
it's anticipating what we
Right,
expect to
realize
get this
last
done at,
year,
yes.
in 2012, Greenway was there for 100% of the time.
yes.
So the $30,000, roughly speaking, of landscaping, which is the lawn stuff, and the snow plowing, that's already in the 99 that you're looking at.
Yes, I just
So-
wanted to understand what the other 20
Right, so
without that list.
right,
I
okay,
get it.
that's why we stepped it
Yeah,
up.
okay.
Other
And
questions?
the bottom line here is that we think
Well, we
we're going to
should-
be
we
able
should
to take
make it- we should-
$40,000 out.
But we should make that clear. It's because it's lost in these numbers.
Okay.
And we should make it clear to the board, and we also should send a copy of the RFP to the board.
Yep.
And please feel free to make any comments, and it won't go out until the board's commented on it. If you're happy for it to go out once you've seen it, before the next board meeting,
Yeah, notify you.
notify us. If not, then it won't go out.
Just a quick question.
Please.
And Joan, thanks so much, because a lot of those questions I had, and so I do appreciate that. The beach admission midgate, you project going up, and we haven't really talked about why you predict that going up. You've got it predicted to go up 22,000.
Well, most of the, you go back to the rate structure, most of the afternoon material,
Right.
that's going to be middle gate, because we're not going to have the south gate open, and we're not going to have the north gate open. So any increased revenue that comes from that special time period will all be funneled in through the middle gate.
Okay.
And I
Again,
guess the other-
one thing we have to understand, these are projections. I mean, we talk broadly about weather metrics. I mean, Greg, how many sunny days did you have, and what kind of weather? The sensitivities are sunny day. What, 102, 103 days a year?
2 days in the season, 62 or so is sunny.
Right, and then the other big issue is the holidays. If they're sunny, it's a huge differential.
The other-
And so, if during the week, exactly.
And
This is good. July 4th is a Thursday this year.
Right.
That actually, I don't
That-
know how that does it.
That could work to help
Yeah,
us.
Work to also not help if people go away for the weekend, you know. If you have it in the middle of the week, sometimes people, you know what?
That's my point.
We just
Exactly
don't know.
right.
Right.
It depends.
But my view on the part, we're $880,000, $900,000 a year in revenues, and the whole thing is to get the revenues down to 900, 880, 900.
And the question basically I have is this the right model? I mean, we've cut back personnel. Do we think that this is the right model? And we're going in for an RFP. And the truth of the matter is, we're not going to really know until we get the responses. In a
But
way,
I-
this is a
sorry,
transition
see,
year.
but
And I have
Yes.
my concerns,
Sure, of
but it
course.
is a transition year.
Absolutely,
And,
yeah.
until we see those RFPs, we won't know what the cost associated.
But that's still on the margin, right? In other words, that's taking us from, 950 to 910
Yeah.
in expenditure. So that's, but what we're really trying to do is,
We-
change the model altogether with the capital commitment committee and have somebody come in.
Absolutely,
And
but
so-
that's a long process.
Well,
But I
no,
get-
excuse me, I'm hopeful that will be changed by next year.
As I said, it's a long process.
Right.
I think I can,
I
I think I
reiterate,
can
it's a
help
long
the,
process.
I think I can help the commission on the revenue side, and to some degree on the expense side. What we did not include here was we did not include the original budget for 2012, and we will do that in your next iteration. You will see the 2012 original
Okay,
budget
on my
to see
screen.
how far off we are.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're that far off
Good,
in
we'll
terms
see
of
it.
what we
Yeah.
projected,
That's right.
Okay.
and which may give you some comfort.
It doesn't give me any comfort. It's up,
You know what's so
God's got a whole lot
different?
more to do with this than we
It's
do.
interesting, because when you budget for revenue, when we do our village budget, or you do your city, you budget for
Oh,
things like
yeah.
mortgage recording tax and sales tax.
Yeah.
That's so different than
No,
weather.
this is,
It
no,
is
this
different
is,
than weather.
different.
No,
this, we're
you're
running
right.
a small
It's very-
business.
Feels very
here.
uncertain.
It's a small
So
business.
many
It's a
uncertainties.
completely
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, also the big difference is, you would say, and the big thing, just to Councilwoman Brett, for your appreciation, actually, I just put my budget
I
away.
got it.
but-
No, it's right
Oh,
here.
good, but the real question for you is how much is in the cost? So you guys have to
No, I
budget.
know, I'm aware of what this is
Exactly
saying,
right.
and that's
So-
why I'm saying, if you're gonna adjust the revenue, that may affect our
Yes,
ability
it
to
will.
make the capital expenditures,
Right,
right? So,
exactly. So-
so that's
The,
significant.
just so you're aware, I think the parameters that they gave us last year from Tri-City were 50.
50, what was it this year?
I think
That's
it
right,
was, it was consistent,
Consistent with
yeah.
the 50, so
Yeah.
that won't,
Yeah.
that,
So you
Right.
should, right now, you're
Yeah,
good.
that's right.
We're hopeful
That's
we'll be in
that.
good shape.
Right.
But we can't lose
We've
more than
already passed our
$100,000.
budget.
I keep
Yeah.
forgetting
Is
that.
that right?
Yeah, we've already
I keep
passed our
myself,
budget, yeah.
Where's the
You had
village?
50?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's,
Where's
Right.
the village? We're on
That's what we did,
our
yeah.
fiscal year.
Ours is
for
50 as well,
villages
yeah.
are June 1st, May 31st.
Okay. Oh,
That's why our budget cycle's first coming up.
Our budget was passed.
so your calendar year?
Calendar.
December, yeah.
Towns and cities are calendar
Right,
years.
okay,
Villages,
sounds like-
villages have a,
We have 40 or 50 in ours? We have 40 in ours.
40. And if I remember, I don't know, I won't
Mr.
put
Joffrey
words
agreed
into
to
it.
give back his salary if we don't hit that $40,000 mark.
Can you be a little more specific on the revenue target you want to have? I know you want less than 912.
880.
880?
I think in some ways I'd like to.
880.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Only
that's
because that
32,000
22
down.
Yes.
Only because.
Okay.
Because you have 26 false, which is
yeah,
FEMA.
It's FEMA money, it's really not.
You're not 26 down. You're quite frankly, you're consistent with this past year.
Yeah.
Mayor Feinstein's absolutely right. My crack team.
Okay.
Okay,
880 revenue.
I'm going to make a proposal. We pick up the purchasing policy. Do you want to talk about it tonight, or we want to leave it till next
Well,
month?
we have to, because we
Yeah,
don't have,
oh,
we
that's
don't
right.
have a quorum.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sure.
thank you,
That's
dear,
all
thank you,
just-
dear Lord, Miss Doug. Okay, so, and we'll pick up the purchasing probably next week. The tower painting project, is that something
There
that
was some
needs to be
question.
urgently done or not?
There
was
was,
some question
no,
about
it's
that.
not urgent. No, it just, it is
Can we look
ugly.
into I saw the correspondence.
Yeah, there was-
questioning
there's some-
by Lisa Eastman,
Right.
whether or not that was a good thing to do.
Do we need to pick it up tonight, or can we pick it up next
You
month?
can do it next month.
Yeah.
All right.
I have no problem with that.
Any of these
And can I
correspondence?
just
Oh, please,
ask you,
yes.
between now and next month, if we're going to paint, we need to do it in a way that's sensitive to the fact that it is stuck, you're talking about stucco, and if you seal the stucco, you
Yeah,
degrade,
we-
right? So if you have to be able to respond to that.
We actually have,
We
Bill's
did.
done some research on it, and we've got some information straight from the
May I
federal.
recommend the two different paints and one of them is the one we used, and it's.
Right,
usable?
it's the federal government standards for historical preservation and specifically related to stucco and so forth. There's a methodology to
The
this.
one question
Okay.
I don't have is, what exactly is the history of them?
What
There
happened
may be-
before
may
is
have been
another whole
previous
story.
Yeah.
meetings that were not done the right way.
Right,
just don't
well,
know, and
No, I think that's true. I think it was previously painted in a way that is
Within it here.
accelerating the,
I
the,
don't know.
We use
the-
Benjamin Moore, which is one of the ones they recommended, and
Alright.
it's re-
I would like to just quickly cover some of these, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, okay, because I
So we have
promised,
to-
I've got a,
Yeah.
Don't we have to talk about Milton School?
Yes, that's what I want to do.
Right.
I want to try and get some of the little things here. Milton School parents want to have their parade.
no way.
Put on your-
I didn't see it. I didn't see it as a problem, but I just wanted to
No.
make sure the commission.
Can I get I think we're all in favor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they give us a
Okay.
certificate of
Okay,
insurance
done.
and so
Yep.
forth.
I have
Okay.
a child in Milton. So-
Double rate.
Yeah.
Then you have to recuse yourself.
Right. That's it.
And sponsorship partners, we just wanted to call your attention
Yeah,
that Bill Lawyer is
you.
really
Thank you, Bill.
running
We got
quickly.
$500 from Rod Ford.
Good for you. Beautiful.
Okay.
Excellent.
And I don't know if you want to talk about the Passett Park snow thing. But,
Oh, just, yeah, please bring that up quickly.
All right. There
Well,
was,
I'll take it.
ahead.
Basically, again, feedback from the public's very helpful. Ms. Kern, I'm going to say it again. I thought your video was very helpful. Hopefully, we've solved a lot of those problems because we missed things. We got feedback this past month that we didn't shovel. We didn't shovel the sidewalk, and ultimately, I quite frankly didn't know how other municipalities handled it and that kind of thing. But the good news is, we sat down with our vendor, reviewed the contract with him, and he's going to next time plow the
beach walk.
the beach walk as well. So, in all honesty, I hadn't ever thought to that level of detail. And then we got the complaint. We looked into it, and the beach walk will be covered in future snowstorms. So thank you, Matt Cunningham, for the comment and feedback. And so the beach walk will be covered in the future. So we want to be responsive and hopefully. Well, I'm hoping it does snow, Fred. But please.
Throw out a suggestion. I know everybody's going to groan in it, but I actually went down there after about a week and a half after it hadn't been shoveled and we had 2 inches of ice. And I bought $60 worth of Pet Safe ice melt just to put on the path from the parking lot to the beach for people that were trying to get in. And I know no municipality wants to buy pet-friendly ice melt, but if you're going to use ice melt, I would encourage everybody to please try and use something that's environmentally friendly, because environmentally friendly isn't going to be bad for the dogs. It's also not going to be bad for the park. The really harsh stuff is bad for everybody.
Okay.
It's cheap.
Would you communicate
Take a
that
look
to
at
our and I think thank you. Think
That
that
will be an extra cost.
okay. Well, that's fine. But no, we should no. We want to be.
It's a waterfront park, right?
And
Let's
it's well
be-
worth the extra cost. Yeah.
You know, I don't know, whatever you guys did in Rybrook with that brine.
Yes.
Was awesome. And I talked to you guys.
Can I tell you,
But
look,
it worked.
it works under certain parameters. First of all, it's very inexpensive. It cost us to get the equipment less than $10,000. So that's all it is. It really is not very expensive. I'm talking about the equipment, the brine you have to pay, it is mixed by the county. But what it does is, I'll tell you the best part of it is, it has to be certain right conditions. It has to be cold, and you can put it down up to 72 hours before an event. You have to make sure it's not going to rain, because if it rains, obviously, so it has to be below freezing. And the thing that's so good about it is you can put it down between the hours of, let's say, 8 and 4, which is not overtime hours. So you save a lot of costs of overtime. And it's worked very well under those conditions. And it's not the panacea that everyone says it is, but under the right conditions, where you have just a little bit of a dusting or a little bit, or
Oh,
in this
or a
case,
big-
or in this case, it prevented the ice buildup. For the-
Ice buildup?
And it really was tremendous. We got the equipment last year. Last year was, in some ways, a more mild year than one storm last year. big storm. But it really worked very, very well this year.
I know,
And it reduces our overtime costs.
And I have to think it's probably more environmentally friendly, and as somebody who has to walk dogs all day, when you're walking them on that municipal salt, it's brutal, and none of the dogs had a problem walking on the brine.
Oh,
Really?
that's good.
Is that right?
The other thing with the brine is the wind, it doesn't blow away.
That's
You know,
doesn't
Yeah.
pile up on the side of the
It
road.
doesn't, exactly, which is really very good too. And the only thing I'm going to say, which is just a plug for shared services, where in fact, I saw the meeting of Portchester, at least for this year, we're going to be entering into a shared arrangement to help do some of their streets. at least
well, I
until
thank
they
the
get
dear
the-
Lord. I got to say, it was waking up the morning after the storm. You have the terrific mayoralty of Rybrook with pristine streets,
Because I was out there doing my.
blacktop, and then you come into Portchester and you're slip sliding away.
Yeah,
it was
it's-
extraordinary.
well,
It was
it really
the
helped.
night
It
and
did
day.
help.
It was Mayor Feinstein was.
Well, the equipment was, the brine certainly does.
I did actually, because I did actually send Chris an email and I said, "What's the secret?"
Yeah.
Because it was an obvious
But
it was an
it
obvious
really did
difference.
work very, very well. And Portchester is looking into getting the equipment, but it'll take a little bit of time. So what we're doing is helping with some of their main streets. They passed it on IMA. It's on our agenda for tomorrow night.
Wonderful.
Through the end of March
Great.
31st.
How much are they paying you?
It'll be the cost of the personnel, which will be overtime.
Great.
Cost of the personnel and the cost of the brine.
Beautiful. Excellent.
We're
Wonderful
just, we're not
solution.
trying to make a profit. We're just trying to get the brine.
Yeah.
But
Good.
it's at the end of this year. But
Okay. Can I get him? Oh, what?
Last item, I just
Yes,
want
go
to
ahead.
call you, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to call your attention to the drawings at the
Right.
very end. These are 4 different iterations of the middle beach ramp. That's the one that's not ADA compliant. We had a concrete contractor draw up these specs. We're going to try and start getting them priced. We're also looking at something that is more aesthetically pleasing, which is the same exact decking material that they used on Whitby Castle, as well as they are just shy of signing a contract with Playland to replace the boardwalk down there with this material.
as long as we're talking about this, as we look at the budget at the next meeting, we have to talk about the capital improvements.
Yes.
Because to the extent that the revenues are decreased a little bit and the expenses aren't, and we have a bottom line
Right.
in the city of Rye, we have to really talk about what we can afford as far as capital expenditures. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, we haven't finalized that.
Do you include that capital expenditure last year and never spent it?
That's correct.
This is a real liability.
We didn't
this one.
spend all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it is.
Great. Thank
All
you,
right.
Mr. Nowotny. Thank you, everybody, for your hard work. Thank you, Steph.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Whoa. I was, okay.
All in favor? Aye. I know we have a quorum. I know we have to stay open till next.